The Top 10 Best Old Radio Show Intros, Part 2, by Jeff Jorgensen. Before I reveal my top 5 favorite old radio show intros, there were several honorable mentions that received strong consideration but didn't quite make the cut. Any of them are worth a listen if you want to look them up. They are The Six Shooter, Have Gun Will Travel, Inner Sanctum, and The Shadow. But my favorite intros that best set the stage for the tone and style of their program and put you in the right frame of mind for the show are as follows. As I stated in Part 1, each intro averages about a minute, so be prepared to immerse yourself in the audio and try to feel the emotion that is being conveyed. Number 5, Dragnet. The famous bump, ba-dum, bump as the opening theme, the reminder that the story you are about to hear is true, and Joe Friday's shoes echoing down the hallway of police headquarters make this intro an all-time classic. Unlike most police shows, Dragnet was told entirely from the perspective of law enforcement, and Jack Webb's calm and controlled voice perfectly set the stage for the next investigation.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to a robbery detail. A holdup has been committed in a neighboring city. A bystander is shot to death. 2 others are wounded. The bandits are ruthless, well armed. Your job? Get 'em.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
Number 4, X-1. How do you put an audience in the mood for a science fiction thrill ride where anything is possible from alien world exploration to atomic war destruction? The X-1 intro pulls it off. Science fiction in the late 40s and 50s reflected both Cold War anxiety and hopeful optimism. The countdown for blastoff, along with narration, sound effects, and stirring music, all combined to capture every bit of that.
Countdown for blastoff. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents X-1.
Number 3, Straight Arrow. An opening tom-tom beat and a pitch for sponsors Nabisco Shredded Wheat is the best example of clever product placement in my list of intros. But what comes next is even more memorable, as the announcer vividly describes an arrow's flight to its target. The included backstory of a heroic Indian fighting for justice was powerful enough to grab hold of the audience's imaginations and pull them into the adventure that would follow.
Nabisco, Nabisco is the name to know. For a breakfast you can't beat. Try Nabisco Shredded Wheat. keen eyes fixed on a flying target. A gleaming arrow set against a rawhide string. A strong bow bent almost to the breaking point. And then... straight arrow. Nabisco Shredded Wheat presents Straight Arrow, a new, thrilling adventure story from the exciting days of the Old West. To friends and neighbors alike, Steve Adams appeared to be nothing more than the young owner of the Broken Bow cattle spread. But when danger threatened innocent people, and when evildoers plotted against justice, then Steve Adams' rancher disappeared. And in his place came a mysterious, stalwart Indian, wearing the dress and war paint of a Comanche, riding the great golden Palomino Fury. Galloping out of the darkness to take up the cause of law and order throughout the West comes the legendary figure of Straight Arrow.
Number 2, Grand Central Station. There really wasn't an overall theme to the show Grand Central Station other than stories that took place in and around New York City. Maybe a comedy one week, then a romantic story, then a drama. But the idea of a hub of activity that linked people together, such as Grand Central Station, was created in a tremendously profound way by the intro to the show. The images of shining rails that converge from all over the country to this crossroad of a million private lives builds in energy and excitement until you can't help but feel eager for the story about to be told.
Grand Central Station. As a bullet seeks its target, shining rails in every part of our great country are aimed at Grand Central Station, heart of the nation's greatest city. Drawn by the magnetic force of the fantastic metropolis, day and night great trains rush toward the Hudson River, sweep down its eastern bank for 140 miles, flash briefly by the long red row of tenement houses south of 125th Street, dive with a roar into the 2.5-mile tunnel which burrows beneath the glitter and swank of Park Avenue, and then Grand Central Station, crossroads of a million private lives, gigantic stage on which are played 1,000 dramas daily.
Number 1, The Lone Ranger. Never has a fictional character and a piece of music been so perfectly wedded to each other as in the intro to The Lone Ranger. The opening blasts of the William Tell Overture and the thundering hoofbeats of the Great Horse Silver blend together to create a mental picture of the Lone Ranger charging over the plains, leading the fight for law and order. Fred Foy, the announcer, does a masterful job of narrating the most stirring and impactful intro in radio history.
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the Great Horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again. Come on, Silver. Let's go, big fella. Hi-Yo, Silver. Hooray!
I hope you like my list of the top 10 old radio show intros. Feel free to share any comments. I'm guessing that not many folks under the age of 50 have had much exposure to this form of entertainment. But the good news is, so many old radio shows are available online for free. I'd be delighted if this article inspires anyone to give some of the marvelous old shows a listen and gain a connection to this great part of American culture.